Okay, so our intro. This is the hard part.
Me. I just feel so fake being like, welcome to the Long Live podcast. Hi guys, welcome. Oh, we both did it. Well, this is not working out.
Me.
Hi. It's us. Hi.
Hi.
Hey everybody.
He looks up grinning like a devil.
It's Nat.
It's Becky. Do we have to have an intro? Hello and welcome back to the Long Live Taylor podcast, where we explore all of the eras. I'm Kaylan.
I'm Leanna.
And today we have a very special guest with us. We're so excited to have her. She is a longtime podcaster and co-host of Millennial and an entertainment and culture journalist. So please welcome Pam.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for joining. So you were just on our aunt's podcast, That Nerd Thing. And
Yes.
you talked about, I just finished the episode, all of the things, and you talked about Taylor Swift in there. So we thought you would be perfect to join. How long have you been a Swiftie?
I love getting to talk about her. I've been a Swiftie for a while, probably since the early 2000s. I can't quite remember the date, but I know that I was flipping through channels one day, because that's a thing we used to do back in the day. And our song was on CMT. The music video was getting a lot of airplay back when she popped it out as a single, and I've been a fan ever since.
Amazing. We actually just did our song right before this. So that'll be
really?
the episode that comes out right before this one.
Perfect tie-in.
Yeah. Amazing. Well, is there anything else you want to share with the audience before we begin, or should we just go right into our song?
I don't know. I feel like you summed up who I am in a nutshell. Like you said, I've been podcasting for quite a while now, and I co-host a podcast called Millennial, which is kind of like a general podcast. So we talk about politics and just like life and also pop culture. So I try and squeeze in Taylor Swift in there whenever I can, because I'm kind of like the entertainment girl of Millennial. So yeah, if that sounds like it's up your alley, come check us out. We release episodes weekly. It is explicit, so maybe not for anybody under 18, but if you're over 18, come join us.
Amazing. Cool. And the song we're going to be doing today is one that Pam requested, and it's Right Where You Left Me. And it's perfect because my mom has been asking me for weeks to go over the song because she doesn't get the symbolism of it. She takes it very literally. So
okay.
this will be a good one for us to go over.
I feel like you can. I feel like you can easily take it as it is, and it's still good.
Yeah. Well, there's been a lot of, I don't know, Pam, if you're on TikTok, but I see a lot of TikToks about I'm still at the restaurant, and they're not actually talking about a restaurant. And my mom gets really confused at those TikToks. So that's what's making her very intrigued about this.
It's like a liminal space, right? You know, like kind of like a train station where you feel like no time is passing, but you know time is passing, and like people are passing through, but like they're all strangers and you're just there and almost like a ghost. So
exactly.
I totally, So it could be a restaurant, but it could not be a restaurant.
Exactly.
That's a perfect summary. Wow.
We don't even need to do the rest of the song now. I'm just kidding. Okay. Pam, do you have the lyrics pulled up? Okay. Would you do us the honors of reading the first verse?
Sure. All right. Friends break up. Friends get married, strangers get born, strangers get buried, trends change, rumors fly through new skies, but I'm right where you left me.
She's just setting the scene of different things changing, like different scenarios. So you can have a friendship that ends up in a breakup, or a friendship that ends up in getting married. People getting born, people dying. I feel like she's just setting the scene of all of these different things.
Yeah. Just like everything's moving on. But she's not.
Yeah, it's what's interesting to me about those lines too is that they're all like mile markers for life, right? Like bigger ones, but she's listing them off so casually because they're not important in the grand scheme of what it is she's going through.
Yeah.
And that kind of like feels like an overarching theme for the whole track, because it feels like nobody thinks that what she's going through is important either. So
yeah,
it's like a back and forth.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Cool. I'm going to do the second half of that verse. Matches burn after the other, pages turn and stick to each other, wages earned and lessons learned, but I'm right where you left me.
I think this part of the verse, like, perfectly gives me Evermore. I feel like I'm sitting at a cozy fireplace. Like, the whole, like, I don't know. I just think that Evermore is so distinct to me in, like, all of her albums. And I feel like every single song gives me that same vibe. Like, I'm just sitting at a cozy fireplace listening to the whole album.
Yeah. I don't know why. We've talked about this on an earlier episode, but I don't know why this song does not match Evermore in my mind. Like, when I hear this song, I think it's off the album Red. And I don't know why. It doesn't sound like Red. I'm maybe lyrically I'm trying to think, but for some reason it doesn't. I always think Red. I get it confused.
I feel like it's because it's kind of like the most country song off of Evermore tonally,
Probably.
which is so funny to say because she literally has a song called Cowboy Like Me, and what's more country than a cowboy, right?
Yeah.
But I think it's very much like low-key steeped in country, and even just like the way that she's writing about what's happening to her, it gives like small town. And so that kind of correlates to country to me. And I feel like Taylor's songwriting always harkens back to that because that's so much of like her origin story. But Red is really the last time that we really saw her playing around in country before she moved forward and went like strictly pop, basically. So that makes sense to me for sure.
That has to be why. And even in our song, which we were just doing, we were saying that it has that small town country feel that we miss in the newer stuff. So yeah, that is why it makes sense now.
I could totally see this being like From the Vault Red.
Yeah. Same. And this part has one of my favorite lines, pages turn and stick to each other. I just think that's so brilliant of how life can, I don't even know. I feel like it's very deep and complex, but I can't even put into words exactly. I need to think about it.
Like,
yeah, I love that one too.
Yeah.
I see like a book being like it's like symbolic for life. And how like when the pages turn and stick to each other, like that's kind of how life kind of goes by as well.
And you kind of bring people with you in a way, like even if you're not connected or talking to someone anymore, a part of them and your interactions with them and your time with them moves on to the next chapter in your life too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it too because it kind of like, I think it evokes like the old and ancient vibes that you were talking about with regards to like this feeling very Evermore. So it kind of falls in line with something that feels old and ancient, like folklore, for example, too. But also pages getting stuck together. It's like if you don't unstick those pages, you miss things, you miss details. So it's almost like the details are blurring for better or worse. And you guys can tell me if I'm way off here, but it almost kind of like, it's kind of drawing hearts in the byline to me. Like, I don't think Champagne Problems and Right Where You Left Me are connected per se, like the trilogy and Evermore.
Yeah.
But I feel like the idea of that is very similar.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Drawing hearts in the byline.
When I was reading about like how people felt about this song, a lot of people actually brought up Champagne Problems.
Really?
And yeah, especially like into the pre-chorus with like the glass shattering and stuff. A lot of people like relate a lot of like imagery in both songs together.
I could see that.
Yeah. And the train that Pam was talking about too. That
yeah,
kinda
the
goes
liminal
with it.
space. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Anything else on that first little section? I feel like this song is structured. It's not really verse, chorus. It's sections. Leanna, will you read Help, I'm Still at the Restaurant?
So, help, I'm still at the restaurant, still sitting in a corner I haunt, cross-legged in the dim light. They say what a sad sight. I swear I could hear a hairpin drop right when I felt the moment stop. Glass shattered on the white cloth, everybody moved on. I stayed there, dust collected on my pinned up hair. They expected me to find somewhere, some perspective, but I sat and stared. Right where?
You left.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that was a lot.
it goes into the chorus, so.
Yeah.
This section is like, that's my favorite part of the song, I think.
Okay. Why is it your favorite?
I just think like so much is going on, and like, I don't know, I know that Taylor can paint the picture very well, but I just feel like this one is like top tier. I can feel myself in the moment. I can see everything happening. I can feel what she's feeling. I can see what she's seeing. And so I really like it.
I think she does a good job of describing it with describing the dim light, how silent it is. You can hear a hairpin drop. So I think that's why you're able to put yourself in that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, she really goes from like the perfect picture to everything unraveling, and you kind of get what you think is the entire story until she goes into more detail as the track kind of reaches its end, right?
Yeah.
But like, this is I think it's so relatable because everybody's had what they feel to be a life-altering moment, so like something happens and you feel like you're forever changed, you're never the same. And it does kind of feel like time is moving still or has stopped for you, even though the rest of the world is still going on. And she conveys that so beautifully here. And I think it was Leanna who was saying that you saw a lot of people relating this to champagne problems, right? I think I could definitely see that here with glass shattered on the white cloth, because, she says, your heart was glass, I dropped it in champagne problems. So she's kind of using a similar metaphor.
Yeah.
I love when artists do that overall, too. It's just like you can, like, follow the breadcrumbs and kind of see, like, where their headspace was at. And it makes for such a nice, cohesive listening experience when it's all tied in the same album. But it's also cool when you can find, like, pieces of that in previous albums, too.
Yeah. We've talked a lot about how we feel like Evermore as a whole is just, like, so perfect. It is so cohesive.
It's interesting because, like, the sound is not cohesive, but I feel like the writing is, because, like, it's like, I feel like folklore, if you're looking at just the duo of the pandemic, folklore tonally feels like it all goes together.
Yeah.
And Evermore, when it first came out, I was like, what is this? What is going on? Because the sounds are all over the place, but it works. It's more of like a tapestry, I guess.
Yes.
That's, one sound.
So in this pre-chorus, I feel like so many of my thoughts are on the line glass shattered on the white cloth. So first, I used to say I thought it was White Claw, like the drink. I don't know why. It doesn't really make sense, but... And so after I moved on from thinking that, then I'm thinking about like a Jewish wedding when you crush the glass in the...
Oh, yeah.
The white cloth.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Really?
So, so I looked it up to see, like, what people thought about that. And a lot of people talk about the Jewish wedding. But then she talks about Christmas later in the song. So it's like, is she bringing up the Jewish religion? I don't know. But I feel like it's I guess even if you don't know a lot about the religion, like, it's an iconic thing at a wedding that they do.
Yeah. Wow,
So
I never thought of that.
Oh, well, because I'm thinking, like, he's moving on, he's going to get married, like, that could tie into it. But I really think it's just, like, during the breakup, she was shattered, like this glass.
Yeah. I also were you done with that line?
Yes.
Or you said you had a lot on that line. Okay.
I mean, I thought that you would have, I thought you would say something about how I interpreted it.
No, that's really cool. I never thought of it like that.
Yeah, I
took it very literal.
Okay.
I was going to say I really like the line dust collected on my pinned up hair, because it's kind of what Pam was saying. She's painting this perfect picture. Her hair is all dolled and pinned up, and then the downfall with dust collecting and it turning dark. But I also feel like even this chorus reminds me of All Too Well. When she says, I'd like to be my old self again, but I'm still trying to find it. That's kind of how I feel, where she wishes she could go back to who she was before this moment happened, this life-altering moment. And also the music video for All Too Well, like the aesthetics of it is how I would picture a music video for this. So,
yeah, I can see
another
that.
reason.
Yeah. I really like your perspective on dust collecting, because, like, I I definitely think, like, if you look at this as, like, a metaphor for, like, you know, like, almost like a bombshell being dropped. Like, dust would collect in the aftermath, right? But I always thought of it like she stayed stagnant in this place for long enough for dust to literally collect on her. And that, to me, is like, oh, my God, this is so tragic because nobody has bothered to dust her off, if you will. They've just let her be. But then also, like, it also kind of always reminds me of Clean, which is another one of my favorite Taylor tracks, because that's kind of the last time she uses dust as a metaphor for what happens in the aftermath of a relationship. And the only way for her to remove the dust is for her to be strong enough to do it herself, right? She says the butterflies turned to dust and they covered her room, but she punches a hole through the roof, and that, like, lets the dust dissipate.
Yeah.
And so she's, like, not ready to do that here. And so that's why everything is still dust.
Yeah, she's just stuck. Oh, I love that. I got goosebumps from that.
I was like, wow, she's better than us. Like, we would not have explained.
I'm just here to hang out. I have a lot of time to think, clearly.
No, that's great. Oh, amazing. Anything else on this little section before the chorus?
I just want to say that at this point, when I was going through taking my notes, this is when I realized that this is the depression version of The One, kind of. I felt like they kind of have the same vibe of like you could have been the one, but now it's like she's moving on in The One. It's okay, things are getting better, but like this is like the deep pits of hell before that.
Yeah, there's no acceptance yet, right?
Yeah.
Like, I know that with tortured poets, there's like this big theory online that they're all like the stages of grief, right?
Yeah.
And one of the last ones is acceptance. And I think that the one, when she's at The One, she's accepted that this is in the past and made peace with that. And this is definitely not that.
Yeah, no.
Okay, so then the chorus is, right where you left me no. Oh, you left me no. You left me no choice but to stay here forever. You left me no. You left me no. You left me no choice but to stay here forever. I feel like it just sums up nicely what the verses were leading up to, that she's still there.
Yeah, and I feel like this really shows her upbeat melody with the depressing lyrics. Always.
Yeah. Okay, Pam, would you read the next section for us?
Just the full bridge, right?
Yes, please.
Did you ever hear about the girl who got frozen? Time went on for everybody else. She won't know it. She's still 23, inside her fantasy, how it was supposed to be. Did you hear about the girl who lives in delusion? Breakups happen every day. You don't have to lose it. She's still 23, inside her fantasy, and you're sitting in front of me.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
It is so good.
For me, this bridge, and you guys might see it differently, but for me, I always took this more as not even really about the relationship herself, but more Taylor just kind of being negative and hating on herself. And it does remind me a lot of The Archer when she says, I never grew up, it's getting so old. And we know Taylor has talked about, I think in the Miss Americana documentary, celebs being stuck at an age they got famous. And I'm sure it's talking about the relationship that she's saying she got frozen from. But I almost take it like she meant something deeper. Like she's kind of berating herself for letting it impact her this much and letting it really like stop time for her.
Yeah. I guess I could totally see that. I did not think deep enough to think that. But I definitely can see that it could go further than just the like surface of the relationship.
This is one of those moments too where for me the lines blur between what is fiction and what is perhaps inspired by her real life, because I also read this part in particular and go back to the beginning of the song where she says, stories fly through new skies, and that really evokes the idea of rumors spreading, right? No matter where you've moved or no matter where the other person that's a part of the original story has moved. And so when I think about it that way, this kind of feels like almost like sarcastic in a blank space sort of way, where she's reclaiming her own narrative, right? And telling her own story, but in this really like almost like poking fun at herself before anybody else has the chance to poke at her or pour salt in open wounds, if you will.
Yeah. Especially the line, breakups happen every day, you don't have to lose it. Yeah, that's definitely just like that. Like, she's like, why am I caring so much? Why is this doing this to me? I should be able to move on.
But also could be her just including the whispers that she hears about herself in this situation, right? I'm sure if she's the one that stood still and everybody else has moved on, they're all looking at her judging, being like, why isn't she over this? And people break up all the time. I've broken up with people. It's never hit me this deep. You don't have to lose your mind over it.
Yeah.
Wow, that's I took it more as her telling herself it, but I think that actually is a really good point, that it's people kind of invalidating her experience and her feeling like it's a unique experience to her that no one else deals with.
Yeah.
I think it could be both, though, to your point. Like, I think that this could be her talking to herself, being like, you need to move on. Everybody else he has, you know? Or, like, I also think that this song could, like, I think it is about a breakup because, you know, like, she alludes to that in the end. But I also think that, like, you could very easily apply this to platonic breakups, too. And, like, those sometimes hurt just as much as romantic breakups, like falling out with a friend.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, I also think it could be, I think Taylor judges herself a lot based off, you know, things that have been said about her, as much as she will be like defend herself and write songs like Blank Space, poking fun at it. I think it still gets to her. Like, I remember even on Ellen, they asked her, like, what's the most embarrassing thing you've done or something you could take back? And she's like, I was really like cheeky and I called out Joe Jonas during an episode here when I was 18 years old, and I was really mouthy. And even people kind of make fun of her for writing songs about her breakups. And I feel like if she even questions that too, and if that's why she made Folklore and Evermore fictional, to kind of hide that. I just personally relate a lot to this section too, because I am very emotional. I'm a Pisces and I will lose it over a breakup and it is the end of the world and I will be in my delusion of this is how it's supposed to be. So I get it.
Yeah, I feel you, girl. I'm a Cancer. I hold a grudge like no others. Maybe it's the water sign thing.
It's the water.
It is.
Yeah. She's a Sagittarius, so fire, I think.
Yeah.
But I think she has a lot of water in her. She has.
Maybe it's in her chart somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And then it makes me wonder what was happening at 23. But that's a whole other story. Cool. Any other thoughts on this bridge?
No, I love it.
Okay. Leanna, do you want to do?
Sure, the whole thing, the whole section.
Okay, yes.
Okay. At the restaurant, when I was still the one you want, cross-legged in the dim light, everything was just right. I could feel the mascara run. You told me that you met someone. Glass shattered on the white cloth. Everybody moved on. Actually, I think I'm going to cut it in half.
Okay. Plot twist in the story.
Oh, is it a plot twist? I feel like we could see it coming.
True. I always imagined it as a breakup, but then I feel like it's salt in the wound when they already met someone else.
Yeah,
It's
like why'd you gotta tell me
punch.
that?
Yeah.
And it also, like, it gives you more perspective as to why she's frozen,
Yeah.
right? Why she can't move on. Because that's a huge blow. It's not a situation where two people fell out of love. She's still very much in love, and the other person has moved on.
Yeah, that's
Exactly.
so sad. See, this part is where I think, like, you could see, like, the for real restaurant. Like, you could see them for real sitting there at a restaurant. He's breaking up with her. And that's why I feel like your mom, I mean, not just your mom, but like you can think the whole thing could be a restaurant. It doesn't really have to be just symbolic. You could just really be at a restaurant.
Yeah. Also, I just want to say I think it's rude to break up with someone at a restaurant.
Yeah.
Because
it is.
I don't want to be crying in front of everyone. How embarrassing. Like, it's just also one of my friends was saying one of their friends, someone cheated on someone and they went to a restaurant to tell them. And I'm like, how manipulative, because they didn't want them to yell or freak out. I'm like, that is so rude. And it's giving me these vibes.
I love that you said that, because I also think that, like, she alludes to that with saying that she's sitting cross-legged, which is very proper, right?
Yeah.
And then when you move back up towards the, like, further up in the song somewhere, she says, they expected me to find somewhere, but I sat and stared. So to me, that feels like we as a society, we don't like publicly grieve anything.
Yeah.
Because it's not seen as proper. So, like, the ladylike thing, right, the proper thing, cross-legged is also ladylike, would be for her to get up and have the tantrum somewhere else or showcase her grief in private. She's like, F that. No, I'm sitting right here.
Yeah.
And I'm, like, you did this in public, so I will react in public.
Yeah, definitely. Because he was hoping it would be the easy thing and she would get up eventually and leave, and, you know.
She'll get up when she's ready.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very
Years
much.
later.
Manipulative, sir.
Right, exactly.
But yeah, this is a message directly for my mom. It doesn't have to be just a restaurant. It's any moment where you're stuck with that person and you can't move on, or it could be, it's just, yeah.
Yeah, it could be like a place, it could be a feeling, it could be a time.
Yeah.
It's just like you're still stuck there when this like life-altering moment happened.
Exactly.
That's why a lot of us are in therapy, you know? We're just still stuck wherever.
Yeah.
Whatever it was that brought us there is.
Yeah. Usually in your childhood. Hers is in her 20s, so she should consider herself lucky. I'm just kidding.
Oh my gosh. Okay, do you want me to continue?
Please do.
Okay. Help, I'm still at the restaurant, still sitting in a corner I haunt, cross-legged in the dim light, they say what a sad sight, I stayed there, dust collected on my pinned up hair, I'm sure that you got a wife out there, kids and Christmas, but I'm unaware, 'cause I'm right where I cause no harm, mind my business, if our love died young, I can't bear witness, and it's been so long, if you ever think you got it wrong, I'm right where you left me. Oh, it's so sad.
I know. I don't know if I'm taking this too literal, but when she sang sitting in a corner I haunt, I'm sure, I don't know if she really meant this, but I'm imagining she's there so long she dies there. That she just
a part of her dies.
Yeah.
I think you're onto something.
Yeah, I'm imagining a part of her dies, but also maybe she's stuck there until she literally dies, and then she's metaphorically haunting, and she's actually there haunted. It's like, yeah, that person died in there because they just never moved. They never moved on.
I feel like this could be a movie.
I think it could.
But yeah, I think it's just so sad because just like, you know, people are like kind of feeling bad for her. Like, people pity her. What a sad sight. And it's just like, nobody really knows how she feels. They kind of just want her to like move along. And she's just like completely stuck.
Yeah. This part has one of like probably my favorite part in the whole song. And it kind of feeds off of what you were just saying too. I cause no harm. I mind my business. If our love died young, I can't bear witness. That part just hits me like a sucker punch to the gut every single time.
Oh,
because, yeah, it's like everybody is telling her to move on. But she's like, why do you care? Like, I'm here. I'm not bothering you. You're more bothered by me than I am. You know, bothered to still, obviously she's bothered to be in this state. But, you know, it's like, let me work through this in my own pace. But also just like the imagery of our love died young, I can't bear witness. I think that like that really kind of captures the whole idea of this track of her not being able to move beyond the delusion or the fantasy of her being like, if I'm still here, I can still picture an alternate reality where everything worked out, where I didn't have to bear witness to our love story ending.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, that line actually I never really fully processed until I was reading the lyrics last night, and that hit me too. I was like, wow, what a good line. So well written.
And it's so sad because she's like, I'm here if you ever want to come back. Like, come on, girl, you need to move on.
Yeah.
See, even I'm telling her, let's go.
Do you know what's so interesting to me about that, too, is that, like, she has this part here that says, I'm sure you got a wife out there, kids, and Christmas, but I'm unaware, right? So, firstly, that is interesting to me in thinking about it in the scope of, like, living in the 2020s when you can literally insta-stalk your exes, your ex-anythings, right? But she literally can't bear to see if they're happy without her.
Yeah.
Right? But then also, if you can't bear to see that that person is happy, you're assuming because she's stuck at 23, that person is also stuck at whatever age they were when things ended. But the reality is, and maybe this is like where it ties into the delusion of the fantasy, that that person could be completely different. And maybe like the way that they're different would not manifest in a romance for you now.
Yeah.
Or maybe it would. There's a lot of what ifs, and I think that that probably is what makes it painful. But it is interesting that she's like, hey, I'm still here if there's ever a chance.
Yeah.
But you might not even like the person that that person's morphed into without you.
Yeah, I love that. And yeah, I do love that whole ending, I guess, is this buildup of all these really sad things. But then she's still saying, but if you ever think you got it wrong, I'm still here. Like, that's desperation, I feel like. And I like that she's
and, like,
portraying
also
that.
kind of hope, too.
Yeah.
Like, it leaves the listener feeling like maybe there's hope because there's hope on one end of the line, even though there probably isn't.
Yeah. Oh, this is really sad.
I know. I told you this is
it.
depression.
And then she just goes, I'm right where you left me. No, you left me no choice but to stay here forever. You left me no. You left me no choice but to stay here forever.
Now I feel like I see her ghost sitting in the restaurant.
I imagine an actual ghost, like Haunted Mansion at Disney.
Unfinished business vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why she's still there.
She's like, no, it can't end like this. I refuse. Okay, any other thoughts or overall comments on this song?
This is great. This is a great song.
Yeah. It deserves more love. I think people overlook right where you left me.
Yeah. It was having that moment on TikTok. I wanted to make this funny TikTok where, I don't know, did you guys see the trend where it was like, help, I'm still at the restaurant? And I forget what it was, but I wanted to make something like, you know, you're bad when the restaurant you're stuck at is a Waffle House.
Oh my gosh.
Because that's based off a personal
does kind
thing
of
where
sound
I missed.
like hell.
Yeah.
Or so I've heard.
I'm like,
we don't have those in California.
Oh, really?
They're not. They're not great. They're like the rundown version of IHOP.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
I feel like it's a culture thing. So if I go to the South, I have to go to one, like just to see what's up.
Well, they're open.
Good luck.
Even when it's like hurricane, like they're open all the time.
Yeah.
And I was in one with this guy that I liked, and that's why I said it, because I'm like, oh, I missed that time. But it was like 2 a.m, and the staff literally walked out. They didn't want to cook anymore. They just left.
Yeah, because most are open 24 hours. They like never close.
Yeah.
But they're very
Anyways,
gross.
I do think it had that little moment, but I do think it's not as appreciated as it should be for sure.
I wanted to know, why did you pick this song?
That's a good question. I'm trying to remember what other songs I sent you guys.
You said Now That We Don't Talk, and I can pull it up real
I
quick.
probably sent you all breakup songs because I just like the dramatics of it.
Yeah.
Me too.
No, but I just really, this song has really grown on me over the course of the last few years that the album's been out. It definitely wasn't my favorite track when Evermore first dropped, and I've really just kind of come to appreciate it. I feel like it needs more love. I think a lot of it too comes down to the fact that people just take it at its surface level, because it does kind of feel like a train of thought narrative, but there's so much deeper meaning to me, and it really like showcases some of her most beautiful writing. And I think that like sometimes where Taylor is at her best is when she sticks with simple lyrics. And a lot of these lyrics are really simplistic in writing. They're not as prosy as something like The Lakes.
Yeah.
I love The Lakes, but you're not going to find like my calamitous love in Right Where You Left Me. It's a very like accessibly beautiful.
Yeah, you don't need a high
song.
vocabulary for this one.
Right, exactly. And it's so relatable to so many people. I think that, again, obviously this is about a romantic heartache, a romantic breakup, but I think you can relate this to any sort of heartache that you've had in your life. People grieve for like different reasons, right? You can grieve the loss of a friendship, you can grieve the loss of a job, you can grieve the loss of like the opportunity that never was, and this is just like the perfect soundtrack for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it shows that it could be something that people think is simple and shouldn't be grieved over. Like, you're 23, it's a breakup, you'll find another person, but it's not always that to someone. It could really mean a lot. It could be something simple. And The Lakes was the other song you requested.
Oh, The Lakes was the other song, yeah.
Yeah.
That one I picked because I thought, oh, maybe they want to talk about like how it relates to tortured poets, because I think there's a lot
Oh, yes.
in there that would have like, So I tried to give you guys options.
Yeah.
I had like such a long list and I had to like whittle it down.
Love that.
I have no chill when it comes to Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we have songs we're like, oh my God, we can't wait to do this. But we're kind of just like waiting for that moment so we can put a lot of effort into it. And we're trying to space out which albums we do and stuff.
And you have to be in the mood to talk about certain things. Like a lot of like, too, what I picked was like, Pamela, you only, because like I have to use my full government name when I'm talking myself out of something, right? Pamela, you really only want to talk about Maroon for like 2 lines. Yeah. Get that out of the list.
Yeah, that was Morgan. Well, she was just on as a guest, and we did Exile with her. That'll come out this week. And I feel like she only wanted to do it because she loves that one line, like, staring at me, honey, like he's just your understudy. I'm like, we have to make sure we touch on that line for Morgan.
Yeah. Yeah, and then after we finished, she was like, I'm not sure I like this song as much anymore. So,
Oh, no.
yeah, I'm like, oh no, we ruined it for her. But like that's how I feel also. Like I wanted to do Welcome to New York because I'm going to New York soon. But then when I was like brainstorming, I was like, okay, wait, Kaylan, I don't really want to do the song right now. It's not giving me anything right now.
Yeah. It gives me nothing. The only line I like in that song is boys and boys and girls and girls. Everything else I'm like, you can discard it. Anyway, well, we're going to transition over to our game segment, Drop Everything Now, where we play a few seconds of the song and we have to guess what it is. Have you ever played this game, Pam?
I feel like I've played a version of this game. I really hope I don't get my Swiftie card revoked.
It's harder than you'd think. People on TikTok have been seeing our posts. They're like, we could have got that faster. I'm like, oh my goodness. You guys don't understand. Okay. So me and Leanna will play the songs, and then you'll just have to guess what the title is. Okay. Should we do an example first for you, or do you want to just go right in?
I'll just go right in.
Okay. I'm going to play a second of a song for you. Are you ready?
Yeah, hold on. Let me turn my volume up.
It's nerve-wracking.
Okay, we're good.
Okay.
Yes, another one of my favorites. All You Had to Do Was Stay.
Correct.
That is
amazing.
A good one. I love that one.
Okay.
Yeah. Kaylan, do you want me to play one for you?
Yes, please.
Okay. I'm
what
so
if this
nervous.
game goes on forever?
No, it won't. I will lose. I inevitably lose often, so it's okay. Okay, here we go.
Oh my gosh.
That was 4 seconds.
I really don't know. Wait, let me think.
If you don't get it, we're gonna ask Pam, and then if she
Yeah, I
gets
was
it,
gonna
you're
say,
officially
I don't
not
know.
a Swiftie anymore.
No, don't take my card away. Pam, do you know it?
Can you play it again?
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
I will. It is a very slow build up, so that's why I played a little more. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
I did just fix my mic problem, so hopefully everything's good. I played even more this time.
What is that?
This doesn't sound like... Are you sure this is a Taylor Swift song, Leanna?
I can see it. I wouldn't get this either. I wouldn't get it either. But now I'm so excited I'm going to win again.
It's not the lakes, but it kind of
No.
sounds like
It
the
does sound
strings of the
similar.
lakes. Yeah. I don't know. What is it? Is it? It's not. No. Okay.
Can you
What
give
is
us
Should
a
I keep
hint?
playing it? Let
Yeah,
me just
play
keep playing
a few
it.
more seconds.
Okay.
Oh,
That should get it.
Gold
Oh
Rush.
my God.
Yes.
Wow, that was
I don't think I've
hard.
ever paid attention to the strings at the
Yeah.
beginning of Gold
Yeah.
Rush. Wow, I gotta check my equalizers on all my devices.
I had no idea. Truly, I was like, this doesn't even sound like Taylor to me. Wow,
Wow. I can't
Leanna,
believe
you're
I
the
won.
winner this week. Wait, no, you have to guess a song. Did you already guess one?
No. Fine.
We
let
have
me
to
guess
see if
one,
you'll guess
just so
it.
I can officially win. 22.
Yes. Congrats.
Yeah, that was an easy one. I'm so happy. Okay. No. Well, technically, Kaylan has lost, but Pam is not out. So.
Oh yeah,
you can
you're
pl-
right.
You
She's
can
not out.
You can play one for her.
Okay, here you go, Pam. That was 2 seconds.
I think I know it.
Oh man, I don't know that. What is it?
Wait,
It's
can I? No,
Go,
no.
Leanna.
Can I guess? Is it
Yeah,
Say
go.
Don't Go?
it is.
Wow.
We get some
I've been
repeats,
practicing.
Pam. So yeah, we practiced long and hard for this.
Yeah. Wow.
That was fun.
That's another good one.
Yeah,
Yes, it is.
I'm gonna really be listening to the intros now, like every
Yeah.
detail.
I told you when, because like in my car, I mean, I listen to the full song, but when the beginning comes on, I test myself
Yeah,
every time.
nice,
That's smart. I'm gonna start doing that too.
amazing, cool. Okay, well, Pam, thank you so much for joining us for this episode. It was so much fun. I loved hearing your thoughts.
Oh, I had a great time with you guys.
Brilliant thoughts.
Thanks.
Where can people find you if they want to check you out? You kind of said in the beginning, but if you want to plug it again.
So you can find me at Pamela Gocobachi on most platforms. I'm sure these ladies will put a link in their
Yes.
show notes for that because my last name is a bit of a mouthful. And I am at _ Pamela G on TikTok. I don't post too much over there, but I do sometimes feel inspired to do that. A lot of my videos are muted right now because of the UMG thing, but there's a lot of Taylor content on there. And then I co-host a podcast every week called Millennial. So if you want to check that out, you can find all the links to download, listen, etc. at millennialshow.com.
Amazing. Yeah, we'll put all those links in there. And thank you guys for listening. You can follow us at Long Live Taylor Pod on TikTok and Instagram, and you can send us an email with any notes at longlivetaylorpod@gmail.com. We'll see you next time.
Yay.